All right, this is for my inner circle only. If you're watching this, you're serious. First things first, I'm not an attorney. This is for educational information only. You're responsible how you use this. But I'm going to break down something that most people never, and I mean never, understand or utilize properly. How to vacate a default child support order. Okay? That's what we about to talk about. So you grab your pen and your paper and we about to get started. All right. What is a default? A default happens when the court enters an order without you properly defending yourself. Yes, you didn't show up to court and they move forward without you. Okay. That usually happens because you didn't appear. You weren't properly served. You didn't know about the hearing. Nobody told you about it. You didn't get the paperwork, so how could you show up? Or the paperwork was defective, meaning that it had errors on it. So therefore, you wouldn't have got it right anyway. Now, here's the key. A default is not automatically valid just because a judge signed it. Okay? Just because a judge signed it don't make it right. They get it wrong too. Okay? So, with that being, there are two types of default attacks. And I'm going to show you both. There are two main angles, and these are the only real angles that really works. All right? Procedural defects, jurisdiction attack. This is the strongest one, to be honest with you. All right. And if the service was defective, the court may have lacked personal jurisdiction. That means the order can be void. They didn't do it right. It's void. We're talking about no summons, wrong addresses, substitute service issues, no proof of service. They didn't file it right. Improper administrative process. Okay. Again, you got to look at what they send to you, if they even send it to you. When jurisdiction is missed, the order is void, not just wrong. Another thing is excusable neglect, fraud, or mistakes. If you knew but couldn't appear, hospitalization, incarceration, military service, no notice of hearing date, agency misrepresentation, then you argue the excusable neglect or extrinsic fraud. Yes, that's these things here you can argue. I'm gonna give you some legal authority you can cite. Okay, and let me break this down for you real clearly and calmly. All right. State rules of civil procedure, motion to set aside default, Turner versus Roger. You might have heard me say that before, or heard somebody else, which is due process protections required before incarceration. Mathews versus Eldridge, balancing tests for due process. 28 USC 1691, proper authentication of process. Let me explain this to you, okay? These cases and statutes deal with due process. Due process is notice and opportunity to be heard. If you didn't get that, that's your foundation. So what do you say? So this is what you attach. I'm going to tell you clearly exactly what you need to attach. A motion without proof is weak. They will reject it. You need to attach an affidavit explaining your facts, proof of address at time of service, proof of incarceration, if applicable, any returned mail, copy of docket sheets, proof service was defective. You need to be able to prove what you're arguing. You can't just go in there saying things, all right? And I'm also going to tell you what not to do, okay? Don't admit jurisdiction accidentally. Don't argue child support amount first. Don't start negotiating before filing, okay? Don't attack emotionally. You have to stay calm. You can't be in there with your emotions. It has to be factual. You're attacking procedure, not feelings. Now, this is what you should expect, okay? We're going to have some realistic expectations in here. We're not just going to go by what social media say, okay? We're going to be real. Vacating a default is not automatic. Some judges resist. But if service was defective, jurisdiction is not optional. It is constitutional. They have to abide. This is the rules. They have to abide by that, okay? If you're sitting on a default order, your first move is not a modification. It's a file audit. It's a file audit. You need to look at what's going on. Next week, I'm going to show you how to audit your case file properly. We're going to go through everything step by step, all right? I'll see you next week.